And so later on, we do meet Charlotte again in the prison. I guess that she was used to lead them there. They were going to debrief her or something like that. I assume that maybe she was the one in the confessional. It's not really clear, but that would give her an excuse to be there, maybe to press charges, do something else. Or maybe she's been in there for a while because she's restrained when she meets Father Retter. Some of that, I'm not, again, the story doesn't suffer. We don't have to see all the machinations of things happening, but having characters in certain places, maybe if there's a little more acknowledgement, and maybe there was, and it's been a few days since I've read it. But we know that the demons are at work in all of this, but at the same time, so is Father Reginald and the Soulfinders trying to be prepared. And Chua, of course, is at work as his buddy in the police station as well. And they wind up going through an exorcism at the time. Lots of action in all of this. And like I say, this is a good place for... this is what I'm very pleased with, is the storytelling is taught in a very action-oriented sort of way, but still is dealing with things in the nature of the spirit. And I think a few of the things that I'm not going to spoil everything for you. They do confront the demon. In fact, you're seeing some of it going into it. And their success with the demon, the nature of demons, let's talk about that just a little bit. They have defeated him in the sense that they won back the souls. The souls are attached to the flesh. This is something that's mentioned in the book. The demon himself cannot be destroyed, okay? But his assault can be stopped on the victims. The exorcist exorcises the demon away. But it's not the exorcist himself. It's not the power within the exorcist. It is the power of Christ that compels you. If you watch the movie The Exorcist, this is mentioned, and that's what it is. In order for an exorcism to sort of work, it is a faithful priest praying for Christ to deliver the person from the demon. And one of the things that we get, I've mentioned a couple times the power of names. Christ, his power over the demons are fallen angels. And this is something else that's an interesting thing I like to, again, talk about. And we talk about the flesh is weak. One of the differences between what an angel is and what a human being is, we all have souls. We are spiritual creatures in that sense. But we are a soul, a spirit bound to flesh. And flesh is weak. That's a weakness to us, but it also is to our benefit. And what I mean by that is the idea that spirits cannot fatigue, whereas a human being can fatigue. I can become angry with someone, but over time that anger can lose its momentum and its attachment because we go through life, we become tired, we can grow weary of, anger depletes you. Strong emotions can deplete you. It's very hard to hold an emotion for a long time because physically our bodies can't support an emotion like that. You can hold a grudge, you can do all that sort of stuff, but to be in the moment of like explicit anger, it falls away. So in a way that is a benefit to us, is that we don't get trapped by the emotional state. One of the defining characteristics of an angel or a fallen angel, which becomes a demon, is that they live in a constant state of emotion. So what their emotions are is that they cannot grow weary of. The demon Blackfire, like all demons, hate us. and they can never have that dissipate. They're constantly in a state of hate and anger and jealousy, and that's why they're so dangerous. And they don't die out. They're an eternal creature. They live outside, should I say, they live outside the realm of time. So, like I said, they are not defeated in a bodily sense, but their attachment, their gateway into us can be blocked off. And at the end of time, they'll be thrown into hell, and they will not be able to get at the good people. And angels, of course, are in a state of love, which is what makes them so awesome, is that they never can depreciate from that state of love. Again, I'm not a theologian. I'm just trying to relate to you the things as I understand them. But it gets into the nature of the things that are against us and the adventures that our exorcists will go through, understand that these are sort of the things that they work in. And I thought it was interesting about the womb, too. Here's something that you probably don't hear a lot of, but angels are, and fallen angels are spirits. They can manifest themselves in a form that looks like a human being, as we saw in the book earlier. And Saint Raphael is a story in the book of Tobit, I believe. Is a name that probably you've heard of, especially the great painter Raphael is named after him. But angels are all considered male, and that's not being sexist. Understand that the idea is that being male is, Adam started off as male and could not procreate himself. The introduction of women, and through Eve, is the sense of fruitfulness, that they can reproduce and can join in the act of creation, actual creation, the union of those two things working together. Spirits themselves cannot reproduce. They are a singular thing. And that's, if you read the Bible and stuff like that, you get into the Nephilim and things like that, where angels, the fallen angels, became jealous of humanity and wanted to insert themselves, and so they found women and they bred with them. So the fact that you had the Limax manifesting himself in the what looked to be in the realm of the womb is interesting, and I don't know if Doug is going to play up on that. I think it would be an interesting thing to do a story about. But that's just me kind of spinning my wheels on that sort of stuff. I find the subject fascinating, like I said, maybe too fascinating. We shall see. And take everything that I say in that regard with a grain of salt. I'm not a theologian. I don't want to lead anyone into heresy. But I've found those things to be interesting. And sort of, if you look through art and history and storytelling, I will say this too. One of the things, getting new people into telling stories, whether it be in the graphic novels or who knows what this leads to. I'm sure at some point people will make video games and movies and other sort of entertainments. Stories, or in music, stories, however they're told, they all have a purpose. And it's great stories go beyond simple entertainment, but they inform us about things. This is why Father Retter is a great hero in the book. And if you've never, I'll have to find RJ, if you're out there, if you ever watch this, I need to talk about you because you have a great channel too. I'll try and put links on all these other people who are talking about things, discussing them. I love his discussion about the nature of heroes in the classical sense. But what can define a hero versus a villain really is being broken out of the mundane circumstances of a life. When you're hit with conflict, how do you react to it? And heroes are built out of the nature of sacrifice, that they give up some portion of their life, in my way of thinking about it, some portion of their life for the sake of others. And charting the adventures of a priest dealing with the demonic possession of others, people lost to the fold, the sheep who has gotten out in the traps and the snarls of the wolf. He puts himself in jeopardy for the sake of saving the lamb. And even if it cost him his life, what greater sacrifice could you put forward? No better show of love. And so we have a true hero, we have true villains, tragic villains too at that, and people as tragic victims in all of this. So I'm going to end it there. There's plenty more I'd love to talk about, and I just find talking about these things interesting. Like I say, I'm working on my own stuff. It's going to be dealing with things sort of in the same realm. More about that when I get a little further along, since I'm going to be homebound probably for the foreseeable future with this outbreak, pandemic, whatever. Hopefully I'll get some more work done on that. Anyway, if you've gone through all these and spent your time with me, thanks. I don't imagine I'll ever have more than about 1 or 2 views, which will probably be me. But if you are someone else, thanks for spending your time with me. And I'm going to go through all the other Comicsgate books that I've bought as well. So cheers, salute, and thanks for your time. Bye.